Let me tell you a story about a man who was born with no arms and no legs, but who learned to live a life filled with hope, courage, and purpose. This is the story of Nick Vujicic, a man who proved that even without limbs, you can still stand tall in life. Nick was born in 1982 in Australia. When his mother first saw him, she cried. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. Her baby boy was born without arms or legs. The doctors had no answers. It wasn't because of any disease or accident. It just happened. His parents were heartbroken. They loved him deeply, but they also worried. How will our son live like this? How will he eat, walk, go to school? As Nick grew older, he started noticing that he was different from other kids. He couldn't hold toys, couldn't run, couldn't even hug his mom the way other children did. When he went to school, the other kids laughed at him. Some pointed at him, some called him names. He tried to smile, but inside, he was breaking. He would often cry alone and ask, "Why me? Why did God make me like this?" There were days when he didn't want to live anymore. He even thought about ending his life. One day, when he was about 10 years old, he asked his mom, "Mom, why was I born this way?" His mother looked at him with tears in her eyes and said softly, "Nick, I don't know why, but I know God doesn't make mistakes. One day, you'll see his purpose for your life." Years went by. Nick learned to do things that seemed impossible. He learned to brush his teeth, comb his hair, and even type using just the two small toes on his left foot. He started swimming. He learned to balance his body and float. Every small achievement felt like a victory, but still, the emotional pain was there. He wanted to be like everyone else, to hold hands, to play football, to fit in. Until one day, when Nick was a teenager, something changed inside him. He realized that if he couldn't change his body, maybe he could change his attitude. He began to focus on what he could do instead of what he couldn't. He started giving short talks at school about hope and faith. At first, he was nervous. He thought people would laugh again. But instead, everyone listened in silence. Some even cried. That's when Nick realized something powerful. His story could help others. He said, "I may not have arms and legs, but I can still hold someone's heart." Those words touched everyone who heard him. Years later, Nick became a motivational speaker, traveling across the world, sharing his story with millions. He spoke in schools, stadiums, and churches. People would come feeling broken, but after hearing Nick speak, they would leave smiling, feeling hope again. He would often say, "If I can stand up without arms and legs, what's stopping you from standing up too?" His message was simple. You are valuable. You are enough. You have a purpose. One day, after one of his talks, a little boy came up to him. The boy also had no arms and no legs. He looked at Nick and said, "Nick, you're my hero." Nick smiled with tears in his eyes. He hugged the boy using his neck and shoulder and whispered, "You are beautiful just the way you are." That moment changed Nick's life forever. He realized that his pain had become his purpose. Over the years, Nick learned to surf, swim, play football, and even get married. Yes, he married a beautiful woman named Kane, and today they have 4 children. He once said, "I may not have arms to hold my wife, but my heart hugs her every day." Those words, filled with love and gratitude, touched millions of hearts. Nick's life teaches us that real strength is not about muscles or looks. It's about believing in yourself, even when life feels unfair. He turned his biggest weakness into his biggest strength. He turned his pain into power. And he showed the world that life has no limits unless you decide there are. Whenever you feel like giving up, remember Nick Vujicic, the man with no arms, no legs, but an unshakable spirit. If he can smile through his struggles, you too can face your problems and rise above them. Life is not about what you don't have. It's about what you do with what you have. You may feel broken, but inside you is the power to shine. Never let your circumstances define your worth. If you like this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more real-life, inspiring stories like this. Because sometimes one story, one voice, can change someone's life forever.